Hey everyone, I'm Noodle Yeti, and today I kind of wanted to ramble on in a review of City Skylines 1. A little late to the party, I guess. I guess this would be more of a post-mortem kind of thing, like an after it's done kind of fact. But I'm just going to get right into it. I'm going to give 3 points, both positive and negative. Or, sorry, 3 for each. My goodness. Oh, that looks like I'm holding up a 4. 3 positive, 3 negative. Yeah, something like that. And I'm going to kind of ramble on a little bit about each and my hopes and thoughts for City Skylines 2, about how they change these things or what I'd like to see. Of course, what I like to see might not be the best for the game, but oh well, who cares? The first negative is the lack of residential complexity. In City Skylines 1, you essentially only have 2 residential types, and they both function in opposite ways. Where if you need industry workers, you put down low density, or if you need office workers, you put down high density. Or did I say that right? I think I did. But either way, it actually didn't really matter because you had policies to change the way these worked. So even if you needed more industry workers, you could actually put down high density and just apply a schools out policy. When I'm looking at City Skylines 2 and seeing the 3 separate residential demand meters, that worries me. That makes me think that they might be pigeonholing us into using specific residential types for specific things. I hope that's not the case. Of course, I haven't played it yet, so I can't say for certain, but it is what it is, and I'll just have to wait and see. But that's my worry. Now, the next negative, the second one, is the lack of building types / architectural diversity. The lack of building types appears to be kind of taken care of in City Skylines 2 with the, what's it called, mixed use buildings with the commercial on the bottom floor and the residential on top. That was something I was really hoping for. There are some really cool places here in the USA that we call them like town squares, even though it's a roundabout. Don't ask me why. But we have some pretty cool town squares where it's just like these really old, maybe 4 or 5 story buildings that are wall to wall. They line the roundabout, they line the streets coming off of it. And it's just a really fun place to be where they have like bars and restaurants on the bottom and flats on the top. But you can't make that in City Skylines 1. And that is really disappointing. And I hope it appears that maybe that's something that's going to be taken care of in City Skylines 2. As far as the architectural diversity, I kind of get it, where it's like in real life, you have one neighborhood that's like the same 3 buildings just over and over and over and over again. And then you got another neighborhood that's a different set of 3 buildings that's over and over and over again. But I just don't feel like there's enough building types in City Skylines 1. I'd love to see a lot more diversity, so that way we can create more of these neighborhoods that just all look slightly different from one another. And I hope, and well, one of the ways they kind of helped fix that in City Skylines 1 is with content creator packs. And that's something that I'm actually really looking forward to. I hope that they make a lot of content creator packs for City Skylines 2. I just like the idea of it, that it's them sharing profits with the community who's already driven to making beautiful assets for the game. So, I mean, why not? Like, that seems pretty cool to me. Like, if I enjoyed making assets, that seems like a really neat opportunity where it's like, wow, I made beautiful assets, and the company that makes the game that I make assets for reached out to me and wants to share profits. Of course, some of you I know are probably going to complain about that, but like, oh, I don't want to have to buy it, blah, blah, blah. It should just be included in a DLC or whatever. It's like, you don't have to buy it. Like, I haven't bought every content creator pack for City Skylines 1 because I'm just not interested in the, what is it, like the high tech thing or whatever. I'm not interested in that. I don't like the way the buildings look, so I just didn't buy it. And it's the same thing. You don't have to buy it. The last negative would have to be the game lacked different ways to service and place buildings. You can kind of tell that they tried to solve this with the pedestrian areas from the plazas and I believe promenades DLC. But I think they severely fell short. The roads for the pedestrian areas are essentially reskinned versions of roads, and that's it. Just now they're cobblestone and they only allow service vehicles to drive on them, and people can walk all over, and that's it. It was good. It was a good attempt. That's all I'm going to say. It was a good attempt. But come on. Like, I remember when a long time ago, I went to Europe and I ate at this restaurant. And I remember when I was going to this restaurant, we walked down a regular road and then it was like this alleyway that was like barely wide enough for two people to walk down. But when you look down the alleyway, there was restaurants that lined this alleyway. And I thought that was, one, really neat and very strange, but two, really cool. Like, oh, wait. That's pretty much the same point. So I guess it's just, I thought it was really neat and really cool and strange at the same time. But you can't do something like that in City Skylines because the roads are so wide that you just can't capture that look. You can't capture that feel where they have their seating out on the pathway, where it's just like this really cramped space. The food was really good, by the way. Like, that was some of the best food. We had crepes, I believe, and they were the best I'd ever had. I thought that place was incredible. But anyways, you can't capture something like that in City Skylines. And I really hope that they had something like that to City Skylines too. But anyways, that's... Oh, and the building placement. I did say and place buildings. So not only do I want those like very narrow, like alleyway kind of things that can have buildings and commercial on them, but I also want us to be able to adjust the zoning where maybe we don't want buildings right on the road, or maybe we can take our zoning adjuster and actually push the zoning out far from the road, really far from the road, and zone the building way out there. Literally, like it's off screen, like just way out there. I'd really like that. Here in California, up way towards the northern part of California, I should say, I'm almost into Mexico, but way up in the northern part of California, there's some mountain cities, or not cities, I should say, like mountain villages or mountain towns, where you have the road, and then the homes are like miles off the road. You can't see them. They're just way out there. I mean, sure, you might see a little bit of the road's already gravel, but you'll see an even less gravel road leading out there. And that's their driveway. And I know some of you are probably saying, well, you could just take a dirt road off of your dirt road and pretend it's their driveway. It's like, well, yeah, sure, you can. But I don't want to do that. I want to be able to actually shove the zoning back as far as I want to be able to place buildings way off the road. All right, well, that's it for the negatives. I'm glad to be out of that. I'm glad to now start talking about things I enjoyed about City Skylines 1. The first positive here is the ease of gameplay. It's such, in my opinion, well, I'll start off by saying this might be a bad opinion because I do have about like 1,600 hours of gameplay under my belt with the game, but I think the game is extremely easy to play and to just jump into. The game tells you exactly what's going on. And if you don't know what's going on, you can click on a vehicle, see what type of vehicle it is, where it's going, where it's coming from, where it's going. You can click on a building and see what it's complaining about. Although I will admit, sometimes the complaints that they give aren't indicative. I'm not quite sure how to say the word, but they don't exactly indicate exactly what they need sometimes. So it can leave you a little bit in the wind, like just sitting there wondering like what the heck is going on here. But other than that, and I personally think those are very few or very rare things. Other than that, it's super easy. You just jump in, lay roads, put things down, boom, there you go. Building complains, click on it, figure it out, fix it. That's it. And as you play, it's just so easy to figure out, I love it. And I really hope Well, I should say this. At first, I was extremely worried that City Skylines 2 was going to be too difficult, would all of a sudden lose that ease of gameplay. But then when they started doing like that, I think it was like the crane gameplay or whatever, where they brought up a bunch of the YouTubers, content creators, or Twitch streamers or whatever up into the air and playing City Skylines up there. I think I watched Ambiguous Amphibian, who I know is like known to play games very silly or just have fun. I really appreciate his content. And just to be able to watch him play the game and just have fun showed me, okay, maybe the game's not as difficult as I thought it might be, or as I was worried it would be. And so that's something I really appreciated about City Skylines 1, was just how easy it was. You can go in and you can play it however you want. Well, actually, that's a different point and a positive thing, but the however you want. But it was just very easy, and it was very easy to figure out, very easy to just play. The next thing I enjoyed about City Skylines was the optional mechanics. You don't have to do a lot of things. You could choose to min-max your imports and exports. You can choose to dive deep into policies. You could choose to min-max with the Industries DLC. There's a whole lot that you could choose to do that you don't have to do. You don't need stadiums. You don't need pedestrian areas. And I really appreciated the freedom to be able to play however I wanted. The game essentially only operates on 3 mechanics: residential, commercial, and industrial. And even then, commercial seems pretty optional. I don't know if some of you noticed in some of the cities you built, but it seems like commercial might always just be smack in the middle. And you're just like, well, that thing never moves. I don't understand. So it's like almost like you only have 2 mandatory ones, residential and industry. So I just really appreciated that nothing was mandatory. That as long as you just played with those 3 mechanics, you were having fun. And that's the last point. It's just how fun the game is. You don't have to sit there and be very detailed and place trees exactly and fences and do all this minute detailing. But if that's what you find fun, perfect. You could also just build like this ridiculous, like I'm sure you've seen those videos where people make like, who is it? I think it was like some other guy, RT Game, where he built like a poop volcano or something like that. A poocano. And it's like, you can do things like that. And it's just fun. You can just play however you want. And that's something I really enjoy. And I hope for both the optional mechanics and the fun, I really hope that carries over into City Skylines 2. And I think I already stated how it worries me that there's 3 different residential mechanics and they separated office from industry. Those really actually do worry me a lot, but I'm just going to have to hold my breath and dive into it and pray that it's not as impactful as I'm worrying it'll be. I think that's pretty much my review of City Skylines 1. I think it's a great game, very easy, very fun. You can do whatever you want. And there's only a few negative things about the game that I wish would change. Which you actually can change if you download mods and assets on the computer, so that should be noted. You can fix these issues, but base game, those are the issues, and those are the positives. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Bye for now.
Warning, experts predict an earthquake could hit the area soon. Meteorologists have issued a severe tornado warning for the area. Residents should seek shelter immediately if any is available. Meteorologists have issued a severe tornado warning for the area. Residents should seek shelter immediately if any is available. Meteorologists have issued a severe tornado warning for the area. Residents should seek shelter immediately if any is available. A tornado has touched down in the area. Seek shelter immediately if any is available. Meteorologists are issuing a thunderstorm warning for the coming days. Citizens are advised to stay indoors. A tornado has touched down in the area. Seek shelter immediately if any is available. An earthquake is occurring. Don't panic and wait for help if you are in the affected area.
A thunderstorm is battering the city. Stay indoors until the storm has passed. Astrologists report that a devastating meteor will strike the city in the near future.
Residents should seek shelter immediately if any is available. Astrologists report that a devastating meteor will strike the city in the near future. Residents should seek shelter immediately if any is available. Astrologists report that a devastating meteor will strike the city in the near future. Residents should seek shelter immediately if any is available. Astrologists report that a devastating meteor will strike the city in the near future. Residents should seek shelter immediately if any is available. A meteor strike has occurred. Avoid the impact site and head to shelter if any is available. Astrologists report that a devastating meteor will strike the city in the near future. Residents should seek shelter immediately if any is available. A meteor strike has occurred. Avoid the impact site and head to shelter if any is available. Astrologists report that a devastating meteor will strike the city in the near future. Residents should seek shelter immediately if any is available. A meteor strike has occurred. Avoid the impact site and head to shelter if any is available. A meteor strike has occurred. Avoid the impact site and head to shelter if any is available. A meteor strike has occurred. Avoid the impact site and head to shelter if any is available. A meteor strike has occurred.
Area. Seek shelter immediately if any is available. A tornado has touched down in the area. Seek shelter immediately if any is available.